So I went into yesterday with low expectations. I deliberately kept my expectations nice and low. I didn't want to end up being disappointed. Turns out that was not an issue. Greetings, one and all, and welcome once again to Tom's Hit Parade. By the way, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, share this video with your friends, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. That would be the proverbial gravy. So yes, as I soft promised last weekend with my Portland haul video, we're at what is, I guess, the grand finale for now of my month-long CD shopping spree. I had lots of opportunities to go browsing for CDs, and I took advantage of pretty much every one of them. Just to basically recap for those of you who are new to my channel, just about a month ago, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, I had an extra week off from work, so I did a little two-part thrift store crawl in the Eugene Springfield area. I hit all four of the Goodwills and 6 out of the 7 St. Vinny's, came home with a bunch of stuff. And as you guys know, as people who frequent thrift stores know, that's pretty much cheap fun, inexpensive fun. And then 2 weeks after that, little more than a week ago, my brother and I went up to Portland, and I had 4 record CD stores on my agenda up there, and came home with a good little pack of stuff that you saw last week. And then I think it was before we went to Portland, I found out that KRVM, the local radio station in the Eugene Springfield area, one of the local radio stations, it's not the only radio station in Eugene Springfield, had their annual-ish media sale yesterday, Saturday the 23rd. They usually do it every year, but last year they didn't for a couple of reasons, one of which was they didn't have enough of an inventory, enough of a stockpile of stuff to make it, I guess, what they felt was worthy of having a sale, which, hey, if that's the case, I am all for waiting an extra year to have a nice, big, beefy bunch of stuff, and boy, did they have a bunch of stuff. This is only the second time I've been to their media sale. In all the years I've been here, I didn't really realize that they did such a thing until a couple of years ago. The last one I went to, which was the first one I went to, was in October of 2023. And that was the last one that they had, was in October of 2023. I did a video re-showing my haul from that sale. And yes, I got a nice little bunch of stuff here that I am happy to go through. One thing about that sale was it was not organized in any way. Even the CDs were not in adjacent sections. There was one section over against the front windows, and another was kind of off to one side, along one side of the place. And there was another section that was kind of in one of the middle aisles. So you kind of had to look around to find stuff. And, so it's not the kind of place you want to go to actually look for something. You can always hold out hope that you will find a nice little grail, one of your old grails that you've been looking for years, could be buried in the mud, so to speak. I did not find any actual things I was looking for, but I did find a couple of kinds of things I was looking for, which I'll explain. I'll tell you what I mean by that in just a minute here. And unfortunately, the CDs did not start out at 50 cents each. They started out at 25 cents each. At 25 cents each, 5 for $1. So I came home with about 50 CDs. So yes, it only cost me $10, and a DVD. I got one DVD. And yes, the place was, last time I was there in October 2023, it was 90% a mix, just about half and half between LPs and CDs. The other 10% was DVDs and Blu-rays and cassettes by maybe a 60-40 ratio. But this time it was 95% of it was LPs and CDs. And again, about half and half. They had a couple dozen cassettes and a couple dozen DVDs. And that was all the non-LP cassette media they had for sale. So, but they did have a few components, a couple of stereo components for sale. I was not in the market for those, so I didn't bother really looking at them. They had a couple of CD racks that looked maybe like I might make use of them. Well, heck, I could always make use of CD racks. Who are we kidding? But I didn't bother with that. Just stuck to CDs on this route, and let's go ahead and show them off to you. I've got about 50 of them. Let me take a quick look here. The first one is a companion volume of sorts to a CD, a two CD set that I got this was at the thrift store haul of recordings from the NPR show This American Life, and that's what this is. It is called Lies, Sissies, and Fiascos. That's what it says here. And so, yes, I actually haven't even had time to listen to the first one yet, but I figured this ought to be interesting. Just kind of vignettes, stories, and such from the series This American Life. Disc 1 is We Laughed. That's what it's subtitled. And the subtitle of Disc 2 is We Wept. So there could be some heart-tugging stuff as well as some funny things here. And I'll have to apologize for the appearance of some of these CD cases. I have not had time to recase anything yet, so some of these are going to look a little ugly. I only got a few soundtracks, and they actually only had maybe a couple dozen soundtracks. The last time they had 40 or 50 soundtracks to choose from, but I found a few goodies in here. South Pacific, the musical from the 50s, 40s. There are a couple of songs that I've heard elsewhere that I've kind of wanted to hear the real versions of. So I decided to pick that up. Oh, I guess I didn't show you the backside of This American Life CD. There you go. And then the next soundtrack I found was from the movie Sling Blade. So I figured it's not. Let's see. Daniel Lanois did the score for the movie, and there are a couple of songs in there also. One from Booker T and the MGs, one from Bambi Lee Savage. Emmylou Harris and Mark Howard appear on the soundtrack as well. So excellent movie if you have not watched it. Unfortunately, watching it will be a challenge unless you actually own the DVD or the Blu-ray, and which is out of print. So you kind of have to scrounge for it. But it's, in my opinion, it's worth the scrounge if you have not seen the movie. Very moving, very interesting, funny in places. And then I found kind of this must be a promo CD. For promotional use only, it says in the back. The score from Splash by Lee Holdridge, a classic comedy from the 80s with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. Another movie worth seeing if you haven't seen it yet. It's cute, it's funny. And yes, for promotional use only. I think since this was put out, though, I think they did put out a legitimate commercial use. Well, not that this one is illegitimate. It was approved by the composer. It's just, wasn't put out with the help of an actual record label. And then this one, I have not seen the movie. I don't think I have anything else by the composer, but it was on the classic Varese Sarabande red maroon label. The score from Friendly Persuasion by Dmitri Tiomkin. I figured I'd go ahead and pick it up. Very slowly starting to build a modest library of old classic Golden Age cinema scores. So I figure, what the heck? For 20 cents each, I can take the gamble. And then we're getting into some easy listening stuff. I've had developed a bit of an affection for Yo-Yo Ma, the cellist, and I found a CD. Usually he does classical music, but this one is kind of an easy listening American songbook kind of thing. And anything goes. Yo-Yo Ma and Stefan Grappelli. So I figured that would be kind of fun. Stefan Grappelli is a violinist, and then we've also got a piano, guitar, bass, and drums in the mix as well. So I figured get something other than I've got a couple of soundtracks featuring Yo-Yo Ma, and I think one or two. I've got a compilation. It's got a lot of classical stuff on it. So I figured it was might be cool to have something a little bit different than his normal repertoire. So yeah, that would be interesting. This one just kind of looked interesting. I shouted it out in one of my early Backtracks videos. That's why I've kind of had a little bit of a connection to it, but I don't think I've ever actually listened to it. But this is Concert by the Sea by Errol Garner and his orchestra. And so it's just kind of, that easy listening stuff that was done in, I think this album was from 1965 or 1955. And so yes, I'm a year late to feature it on the Backtracks. But speaking of Backtracks, though, actually, let me show you one thing first. Other thing first. An Arthur Lyman CD. Arthur Lyman is one of the Exotica. I don't know how to explain Exotica, the genre Exotica to you. You'll have to look it up. But yes, Arthur Lyman was one of the biggest practitioners of that subgenre of instrumental music. So this was there. It was on the Ryko label. What the heck? I've got one or two. My sister had one Arthur Lyman CD in her collection that I inherited from her. So why not add one more? Because that one Arthur Lyman CD might be getting lonely all by itself. Anyway, picked up one or two things that I just wasn't sure what they were, and just thought I'd give them a try. Bobby Enriquez with the album Wild Piano. I guess he is a Filipino, I looked up after I bought this, a Filipino pianist. Does kind of easy listening or jazz type stuff. So I figured it'd be worth checking out, giving them a listen to. And then an artist that I've enjoyed for quite a while, Doris Day, picked up an old early album from hers, Hooray for Hollywood Volume 1. Well, actually, yeah, on the front cover it just says Hooray for Hollywood, but on the spine it is labeled Hooray for Hollywood Volume 1. But yes, fun, nice little collection of songs sung by Doris Day's bright, happy, wonderful, bubbly voice. So. And now I can actually say, speaking of backtracks, that was a lot of word. I did find a few things, and this is what I meant a minute ago by saying I was happy to find a certain type of thing I was looking for. Found a few examples. These will be CDs that I may be able to put into my countdowns up in the upcoming 2026 cycle of backtracks, anniversary albums that I enjoy or may enjoy soon. Haven't listened to any of these yet. We've got Jean-Luc Ponty with his album Aurora. This one was put out in 1976, so it could end up being on my 1976 countdown. Yes, a violinist, mostly instrumental work that he does. So, yeah. And a couple of ones that I was kind of looking for, or I was at least aware of, had my radar out for sort of for the 1956 edition of Backtracks. We have Blue Rose by Rosemary Clooney and Duke Ellington. Now, this was actually Rosemary Clooney's first album. She was on albums before this, but just kind of as part of an ensemble of performers. But this was the first Rosemary Clooney album, put out in 1956. So it should be lots of fun to listen to. I do like Rosemary Clooney. I've got a compilation of hers and stuff. So that ought to be fun. Yes, 1956 was going to be a tough year because, the 50s, a tough year in terms of backtracks because I didn't have a whole lot to go on. But now I've accumulated several in the last couple of weeks, so I should be in good shape for doing a nice, don't know if it'll be a 20-item list, but it'll be at least a 10, probably a 15-item list. So, and this is the other one for 1956 that I found, The Misty Miss Christie, an album by June Christie. I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard her sing before, so it ought to be interesting to listen to. So I figured kind of give myself a nice long list of candidates for 1956 for backtracks. And then we have, she's actually been doing her thing for a long time. I think I don't know if she's still alive or not, frankly, but as little as 10, 15 years ago, she was still making albums. Wanda Jackson. This is one of her first, I think this is actually a compilation release, Rockin' with Wanda. This ought to be fun to listen to. I like 50s rock and roll, rockabilly kind of stuff by male singers well enough. I'm sure I'll just enjoy it by female singers that much more. So this one I'm looking forward to listening to. They all are, honestly. Take a quick drink here. And I seem to, on these last few trips to thrift stores and whatnot, I've always seemed to have been able to find an album by the Nylons that I didn't have before. And this is another one called Perfect Fit. And this is probably the 6th or 7th album of theirs. They are an a cappella group from Canada. I forgot to mention in my thrift haul video when I showed my nylon CD that I got there. But yeah, they have always been lots of fun to listen to. And this one is on the Windham Hill label. So yeah, building a nice little collection of nylon CDs. So yeah. And then this one, this is going to be a fun little story. I found 3 albums by this artist, and so I thought, oh, cool! I can expand on the collection, on the just one album of his that I already have. not realizing until after I got home that I got rid of that album in a recent purge. So now I'm going to have to go look for it again, assuming I like these albums enough. But the artist in question is Dave Barnes, and some of his stuff has been Christian. I think he either started out or moved into the Christian pop genre. But his music is vague enough that his lyrics are vague enough that you don't have to be Christian to really enjoy them. But yes, this is his album, Me and You in the World. And I think I have heard this one before. I may have actually owned this album before. But yeah, nice pop rock stuff. And here's another one, What We Want, What We Get. Track listing on that one. And then Stories to Tell is the third and final album of his that I got from the media sale. So yeah, I'm going to have to listen to these and see if I want to, if I want to keep these, first of all, and then if I want to go back and reacquire the album. I think that album was called Mississippi, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yes, sometimes I get rid of CDs prematurely. Sometimes I hang onto them way longer than I need to. Anyway, this one was a cool find. I was kind of looking forward to it, but not realizing I was looking forward to it until it was there. An album by Neil Finn. This is actually his first solo album. The frontman from Crowded House, a group from the 80s and 90s that I really enjoyed. This is his album Try Whistling This, his debut album. So, and yes, despite enjoying Crowded House for quite a while, I just never checked out Neil Finn's solo stuff. So I thought it'd be interesting to listen to. And then here's another one that I just picked up without knowing that this group existed, and the name of the group was kind of interesting. Got my interest. Among the Oak and Ash is the name of the group, and the album is self-titled. And apparently, if what whoever wrote up there is true, it's Josh Joplin and Garrison Starr. I am vaguely familiar with Josh Joplin. I don't think I've ever owned any of his stuff. And I'm sure I've heard of Garrison Starr before, but I figure I have to listen to it. Just as I said, the name of the group was intriguing enough to me. But then I found a CD by this artist. She was on. She kind of first got everybody's attention by being a guest vocalist on. Was it Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? But anyway, one of those big hit singles from the early '90s. She guest vocaled on it, and or late '80s maybe, because this album was 1988. Anyway, Saida Garrett. This is her debut album, Kiss of Life. So I figured I had to listen to this. But yeah, I'm sure she's going to be have really nice, soulful vocals, and it's going to be nice, upbeat R&B pop music. So yeah, executive producer Quincy Jones. So then I found a CD that you saw me talk about in, I think it was Backtracks, my 1985 Backtracks. Just recently, I have it on LP. Found the CD, Contact by the Pointer Sisters. Always up for getting Pointer Sisters album on CD. This has the Dare Me, one of my favorite Pointer Sisters songs. And this was a heck of a find, and you'll see a couple other heck of a finds coming up toward the end of this video. We have Jeff Buckley, Grace, but this is the 3-disc, 2 CD and DVD edition. Yeah, 20 cents, because these are all 5 for $1. And yes, the spine had labels. I actually didn't show you, but the ones that were owned by the radio station, for whatever the reason they needed to do this, spell out the beginning of the artist's last name with letter stickers on the spine. Those were on the spine of this, and I very carefully removed them. So there's still tape on the front and the back. So I figure leave well enough alone. Don't mar it anymore. But yeah, I was blown away. And the discs are in great condition. They've got the radio station's ID sharpied on them, but otherwise, yeah, they're in perfect condition. So, and I had this version of Grace before, but I at the time I just wasn't into the album, so I ended up selling it off to a local store, and I in the meantime got just the regular one disc CD edition, and I've actually become quite fond of the album, so I figured upgrade once again to the deluxe edition. So, and here's some more pretty good finds here. Found a couple of Offspring CDs, and they're one of them's in condition, but the other one's in really good shape. We've got Conspiracy of One, and this is the one that's in kind of iffy condition. But then, how can you complain about the condition when they're 20 cents a piece? But then I also got Smash, and this one is in almost perfect shape. So, and I've been looking to get those. I think it's like three. It's like a run of three Offspring CDs that have all their big radio hits of the '90s, and Smash was one of them. So I just need to look for the other two. I don't think Conspiracy of One was in that sweet spot of CDs that I was looking for. So, and I've been looking for those Offspring CDs for a while. So, and then this one is another one that I think I've heard of these guys, but I've never given them a shot before. The Atomic Fireballs. I guess they are one of those swing revival bands, kind of like Stray Cats or the Brian Setzer Orchestra. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And we're halfway through. Let me take another quick drink. And apparently I am building a bit of a Barbra Streisand collection, because I've got picked up the second Barbra Streisand album. There's track listing on that one. Oh, sorry about the light there. And her third album. I still need to pick up her first album, the remastered edition. I've got her first and second albums on LP, but I've realized lately that I'm falling back in love with the CD format. During the pandemic, I kind of fell back in love with records. Since they're getting so pricey and stuff, I'm kind of falling a little bit out of love with records and going back to CDs. Go figure. This next one was in my sister's collection, but I got rid of it. I don't know why, and so I decided to reacquire it. And it's the same version of it. It's the dual disc version of Fade into Light by Boz Scaggs. So yeah, figured I'd pick that up. A few little scratches on it, mostly on the DVD side. So, but yeah, I'm going to have fun listening to this one once again. Oh, and it's a 2005 release. So I might be able to. I actually haven't assembled my 2005 backtracks list yet, so it could be a contender. It could have been a contender. I've never watched that movie. I'm getting sidetracked. Here we have Jerry Lee Lewis, Mean Old Man. Was it his last album or one of his last albums? Lots of collaborations here. Kid Rock and Slash, Ronnie Wood, Eric Clapton, James Burton, John Fogerty, Sheryl Crow, Willie Nelson, Tim McGraw, Ringo Starr, John Mayer. That ought to be fun to listen to. And then this one was just a what the heck. I've only ever heard their famous song, never listened to anything else of theirs. ATC with their album Planet Pop. Yes, the song Around the World, La 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 La. Everybody's heard that song, but I've never given the rest of their stuff a shot. So then I found this one, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson, the VH1 Storytellers installment. So yeah, that ought to be fun to check out. I've gotten pretty fond of both artists, Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. So this ought to be lots of fun to listen to. 1998, I think, is a copyright date. A little tough to read. Then I found two CDs of a set. I know it's a series of more than two. I think maybe it was three, but I couldn't find the third one there. But I found the first two. Poptopia, Power Pop Classics of the 70s. This is a Rhino compilation. And kind of like the Warhol Campbell soup can form of the track listing. Very clever. So yeah, it was a cool find. And then we also have Power Pop Classics of the 80s, the Poptopia volume. And have a bit of a fondness for Power Pop. So I'm sure I will have fun listening to this. I'm pretty sure there is a 90s volume out there somewhere. Might have to pick it up eventually. Then found another cool Rhino comp here. The Acoustic Edge. Great acoustic music of the 90s. It looked interesting. Looked a little too interesting to pass up, especially for a whopping 20 cents. But yeah, it's got a nice lineup there. T-Bone Burnett, Richard Thompson, Suzanne Vega, Leo Kottke, Tish Hinojosa, Bruce Coburn, John Hammond, Jerry Garcia. So, it reads as Cockburn, but it's pronounced Coburn. I knew that, but I forgot it. And I couldn't resist this one. The Best of Louie Louie. It is a bunch of cover versions of, or actually, I think the original version is in here somewhere. The Kingsmen, aren't they the ones that did it first? They're in here. But yes, a bunch of other artists of varying genres take their shot at Louie Louie. I couldn't resist. The Hallelujah Chorus by The Impossibles is the final track on this. That ought to be lots of fun to listen to. And then I decided to pick these guys up, give a shot to their greatest hits. The Ultimate Alabama. 20 number one hits. And this one was actually still sealed. So yes, I didn't recase any of the CDs, but the one that was still sealed, I took the shrink ramp off of. This one I thought I already had, but I double checked and I did not. It is The Best of Sam and Dave. Yes, Soul Man and Hold On, I'm Coming. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs of the 60s. But yeah, definitely wouldn't leave this one there. Not a chance. And this one I picked up before I realized I already had a 2-disc set of his, but I'm thinking actually about downgrading from that version to this version. Jim Croce. This is Classic Hits, a 1-disc Rhino compilation. And it's got 20 CD or 20 songs on it. I figured that might be all the Jim Croce I really need. It's kind of cool to have a 2-disc set, to have more bang for your buck and in just as much space. But we'll see. I'll have to decide. Either this one or that one will probably be going be sold to a local store. Then we have, this is an artist I wanted to check out for a while. The Best of, is it Ray or Rhea? It's I've always thought it was Chris Ray, but I'm not sure how his last name is pronounced. But I've heard good things about him, and I may have heard one or two of his songs at some point, but I don't know them by their titles at least. So yes, decided I had to give Chris Ray or Rhea a shot. And a couple more. And actually, from here on is greatest hits compilations. Got a couple more 1-disc ones, and then we'll be moving into the multi-disc sets. Taj Mahal, Blues with a Feeling, greatest hits collection of his. I've got the 2 CDs that he did pairing up with Keb Mo, and really, really love those. So I thought I'd give a shot at a greatest hits collection of Taj Mahal, classic blues artist. And we have the Best of Marshall Crenshaw. This is easy. That's what it's called. And so yes, I'm familiar with a couple of his songs, but not a whole lot. Not very many of them. So yeah, and yet another Rhino or Warner Archives set. So, Someday, Someway was one of his big hits. And a Little Wild One. Give him a shot. And now here I am, found a whole bunch of the Sony family of labels Essential series. I've got several of them already, and I kind of picked up every single one that I saw there, just kind of on impulse, unless it was one that I already had. But yes, we're going to go through the lineup here. The Essential Maynard Ferguson, a jazz trumpeter. Have heard about him, never tried any of his stuff, so I figured I had to pick this one up and give him a shot. So then we have the Essential Herbie Hancock. Yeah, I don't think I have any compilations of his. I have a few of his albums, obviously. So yes, this ought to be fun to listen to as well. And thankfully, these marks are on the case and not on the insert itself. So I'll be recasing all of these. As you can see, they were marked with KRVM's stuff. Then we have Waylon Jennings, a country artist, an outlaw country artist that I've never really given a shot to. So I figured the best place to start would be a 2-disc Essentials volume. So definitely eager to give that one a shot. Then this one, as you will recall in, I can't remember if it was my Portland haul or my thrift store haul, I found a 1-disc compilation of his, but then here at the media sale was a 2-disc set of George Jones. So might as well pile on the George Jones. I can always sell that one probably to a store. And yeah. And this one has my favorite song of his, the one I'm most familiar with, Why Baby Why. So yeah. Absolutely give a shot to George Jones. And then the last one in this Essentials set is Chet Atkins. There is a 1-disc version of the Essential of his Columbia years, but I didn't realize there was a 2-disc set, and this, I guess, covers his RCA, RCA years. I'm not familiar with what labels he was on throughout the years, but anyway, yes, 2 discs of Chet Atkins, an absolute master of the guitar, country and otherwise. Couldn't leave that one sitting there at the media sale. Now we're on to the last 4 titles in my haul here today. This one is in another series of hits collections that I have, the definitive pop collection, in this case, America. And yes, we recognize the definitive by the mosaic format of the artist's picture on the front. I've got several of these. And my only disappointment with this one is that You Can Do Magic is not on here. And I don't know why it's not on here. Because this is, it's 2 discs. They could have squeezed it on there. So I don't know why. So, and I do have a 1-disc compilation of it, of theirs. And that's the only reason I would hesitate to give that up. But I can always stream that song when I want to hear it. I keep forgetting I can do that. So, but yeah, having 2 discs of America's greatest hits rather than just one, I think is worth the sacrifice of that one song. And this one, I've been kind of wanting to get a nice comprehensive compilation of this person's stuff for a while, Nina Simone. And this is simply called Anthology, and it is a 2-disc set of the great jazz singer, her material. I think I may have a 1-disc compilation of hers, or one or two of her albums. But yes, I've been wanting, as I said, more stuff to sink my ears into, as the case may be. So yeah, happy to get that one. Now for the last 2, these are some pretty good finds for the media sale. This one is good enough. Talking Heads, Sand in the Vaseline, their 2-disc greatest hits collection, popular favorites. Found it in this chubby CD version. Pretty cool to pick that one up. I kind of like the Talking Heads. I'm not really familiar with them, but this will help me familiarize myself more with them. But then I saved the best for last. There is one other thing I wanted to show you after the CD haul, real quick. It's a DVD I found. But yes, this one, I'm shocked that this was here, because the discs are in absolutely perfect condition. Prince, the hits and B-sides, the 3-disc set. Yes, as I said, all discs are in nearly perfect condition. I can't believe, and I mean, I got there at 10 o'clock when they were supposed to open, but they were already open. So I'm kind of surprised nobody else grabbed this before I did. So I do have like 4 of his albums, which have all the songs that I really am serious about. But I think I'm going to hang on to those and this set as well, just because you don't hear the album cuts, the deep cuts on something like this. So even 2-disc or 3-disc version. So yes, I was absolutely shocked to find this in the condition that I found it. at the media sale. So that was fantastic. And yes, I decided to, despite the fact that I was, had definitely my fill of CD and DVD browsing over the past month, I was happy to, I decided to go over to one of the thrift stores on the way home after the sale. And I found this at the thrift store. I found a couple CDs, no great shakes on the CDs, but I found this in the Choice Picks locked rack here. The Complete Monterey Pop Festival. This is the Criterion Collection 3-disc DVD set. And as you can see, all the corners on the slipcase are just perfect. And the discs are in absolutely perfect condition. It's got the booklet that came with it. $10, $9.99. So I figured that was definitely worth picking up. Yeah, I've kind of been, I've got a 2-disc CD collection of the Monterey Pop Festival highlights. But yes, I've kind of been wanting to check this out for quite a while. So I was very happy to find that as well. So yes, this was a very suitable grand finale to my month-long, well, in pieces, not solid month of CD browsing. So yes, I think I have had my fill for a while of browsing through CDs. I think I will just, be happy just looking at the handful of stuff that at the House of Records and Epic Seconds, on my way home from work. Yes, no heavy-duty CD browsing for a while. I don't think I'll be ready to do that for quite a little while. And yes, of course, my CD listening backlog is just out of control now. I've probably got 300 CDs waiting to be listened to. I don't know how long that's going to take. It's probably going to take more than 1 year, as I am hoping is the case with my vinyl listening backlog. I'm still hoping to get that all taken care of by the end of December. Got a little setback. I haven't been doing much listening during the month of August, so might be a little bit behind. But anyway, enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed seeing the haul of goodies that I found as much as I enjoyed picking them out and picking through the mess of unorganized CDs. But yes, that sale is so worth going to, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. But for now, that'll do it for this video. Be sure to like it if you liked it. And before you go, drop me some feedback in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to catch my future videos, and hit my username to browse my old videos. Links to my socials and my favorite fellow YouTubers are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember, life's too short to be a music snob.